Susan? The exact same.
No, you can't.
Still use it.
Yeah.
I did a check this weekend and I walked to the other side. I made him get in there and then I said, oh my God, this being just 30 minutes.
My granddaughter's the second one at that stage where, as you said, it's just changing the whole world.
That's the best baby carrier to make.
Oh,
That's
God.
when they have right there.
If you have to take them out of the house, it's good.
I would argue that it's better to take them out of the house because then they're entertained. If you sit in the house too long, then they get very antsy.
No, the secret is that too. It's just like the Labrador. She'll sleep better at night if she's
That's right. That's the cue with Abraham. He's usually passed out. Because it's like, oh my God.
guess what? It's something there. No sugar and
So
lots of
it's midway.
No sugar.
Yeah.
I could have used some sugar.
one of these nephews, about 14, in the state of too long.
So if it's not on the agenda, it would typically go to public comment unless it was like a public hearing, which we don't have a public hearing tonight. So just generally anything else would go to public comment.
Before I figured out the ratio of sugar and the
I would say this one right here, this first item, if I had to guess.
maybe for the sugar.
Maybe they might stick around. I don't know. Hard to tell.
The best one is Samuel Owen was there a few one time. He tasted it and he said, "Jesus Christ." Threw it away. That was a good start.
Okay.
It's your Riverdale. You could just say that you're.
Now, before I start the meeting, for those that might have just come in a little bit later, if you wish to make a public comment, we need for you to come over and see our clerk Elizabeth to sign up for that. So I want to make sure that you have your opportunity to, okay, thank you very much. All right, well, welcome everyone to your July 8th Board of Commissioners meeting, all those in attendance and all of those that are viewing in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please join me by standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Elizabeth, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Harker,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cooper,
Here.
Commissioner Gilligan,
Here.
Commissioner LaPiccolo,
Here.
Commissioner Oliver,
Here.
Commissioner Spiegler, here.
Thank you. Unless there's any questions, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Got a motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Thank you. So on April the 29th, the county received, through a foundation called Foundation Forward, 3 life-size replicas of our Charter of Freedoms. That would include the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. And that was a very big monument, so if you ever want to go down to our courthouse and actually read those documents, it is life-size and it's really accessible, so take your children there as well. But during that event, that ceremony, the foundation also presented to the county a framed display of the Civil Rights Amendments. And those are very important amendments. This display includes the 13th Amendment, 14th, 15th, 19th, and the 24th Amendment. Now, these amendments are significant. In addition to the original 3 Charters of Freedom, they've expanded and protected civil rights and the liberties for all in the United States. So I've asked the county if they would allow for us to have it on display here at our train depot. So if you get an opportunity, I want you to be able to come back during our next meeting, it will be here, and it will be here during our August meeting. So they're allowing us to have this on display for at least a month. And you'll get an opportunity to read these amendments. The 13th Amendment, which was in 1865, abolished slavery and involuntary servitude. The 14th Amendment granted citizenships to all persons born or unnaturalized in the United States. The 15th Amendment prohibited denying the right to vote. The 19th Amendment, this is a good one right here, granted the right for women to vote. And then the 24th Amendment just prohibited taxes and federal elections that prohibit people from voting. So those are very important amendments. And I want to thank the county for allowing us to have this on display. Now, this is a very important piece. It's framed very well, and we didn't have a frame or an easel for that. So I was just notified that Chris in Public Works put this together just about an hour ago. So I think he did an amazing job. So I want to thank the county for that. Moving forward, we've got one item of consent that is the meeting minutes for June 10th. Can I get a motion to approve the items for consent?
So moved.
Got a motion on the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Have the same right. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to old business. The first one is case 2410, Towns at Live Oak Site Plan. Who do we have for that?
Mayor and Board, I'll recognize Michelle Eidner. Michelle?
Good evening, Board. We went through this site plan pretty considerably last time we met, so I just want to run through some of the updates that have been made in the past month. I'm happy to go back through any of the other items if you'd like. Following the Board of Commissioners discussion, these following items were updated. We did look into the solid waste collection, and we talked with GFL, and Mark Eek spoke with them. It is consistent with multifamily developments to have dumpster disposal rather than rollout carts. Additionally, we were concerned there wouldn't be space in the garages to store the rollout carts and fit the vehicles. So we have confirmed that the dumpsters is the appropriate method and has the correct volume for the number of disposals each week. The development team responded by updating the site plans to including an additional parking space for each of the 69 larger townhome units. So there are now 366 parking spaces versus the original 297. The development team also wanted to address landscaping concerns and agreed that each unit will have a landscaping space installed in front of each unit, which will include a tree. The development now includes sidewalks which can connect the food line entrance up to some of the amenities. And then restrictive covenants have been updated to address the new parking driveways. They've prohibited on-street parking, which I think is carried forward from previous, as well as short-term rentals are restricted to a minimum of 30 days. So I have bolded in here our parking space differences and then our sidewalks. I've color-coded the landscaping and buffering just for ease of understanding. There's 4 different types of landscaping and buffering. These are carried forward from the last plan. I'm happy to go back through them, but I did want to show I've got some color coding on the updates. The units with stars in front of them are the ones that instead of having one driveway space, they now have 2 driveway spaces in front. So those are the 69 units affected by that update. And then I have red sidewalks where they were existing previously and the green additions. So we've got walkability from the Food Lion Shopping Center entrance to the mail kiosks, to the tot lot, and over to there's a walking trail that goes around some of that vegetation at the stormwater pond at the back of the property. Those are the updates that have been made to the site plan. If there are any questions for me at this time, the development team is also here tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Commissioner Spiegler, do you have any questions?
No, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Oliver?
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Cooper?
On the sidewalks, they do not entirely encompass the apartment complex itself. It's
Correct.
just from, say, from the food line to the kiosk for mail, and then look as if up to the dumpster as well. So what about those that may be coming from the far side? So they'll be walking pretty much along the edge of the apartment's driveway or out in the street to get to the dumpsters?
Correct. Sidewalk, especially with the expanded driveways, the sidewalk would have to go kind of looping around those driveways. So the sidewalk connection is, you're seeing it on the areas that don't have driveway connections on the street.
Okay. And as I look on here, how many dumpsters will there be? I only see one on the map.
They're in the back of the property. The red light doesn't work. So at the back of the cul-de-sac, you'll see a little rectangle that's a two-side dumpster with an 8-foot opaque fence. And then at the hammerhead on the left side of the project, one side goes over to the well and the other side has that dead end with the 2 dumpster site. So they're at the back of the property, kind of to
I'm
keep
sorry,
them-
yes, I see it, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I see it. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gilligan?
I don't have questions, but I do have a comment. I just wanted to thank the applicant for considering our suggestions from last time and incorporating those things. It's exciting to see these things, especially the trees and the limit on the short-term rentals that you really heard us, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lopiccolo?
Hey, I just want to reiterate the same thing. We really, I think, kind of leaned into you guys about adding parking, trees, making some areas of connectability with the sidewalk. So I do want to appreciate that that is above and beyond what the town standards and rules and regs are, that they did listen to. They did hear us, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further questions for Michelle? Thank you.
Thank you.
So when it comes down to the case number 2410, what is the pleasure of the board?
I move
Mayor.
approval, subject to the submission of the items
Sorry, I
on
was gonna
6/13/20.
Do we get to ask any questions from the developer or no?
Do you wish to? Yes. Do we have the developer here?
Sorry.
My-
Oliver.
Just to tell you, Ron Culliford his wife had a little medical emergency, so he was not able to be here tonight. I'll do my best to answer any questions if they're not too technical.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being here, and I do want to echo my fellow commissioners. We do really appreciate you taking into account what we asked last time, especially the short-term rentals. Very happy to see that. Like Commissioner Gilligan said, the trees. I am still concerned about the lack of sidewalks. This is a lot of units, right, with a lot of people and a lot of cars going in and out constantly. Probably small children. There's no way to put sidewalks in the interior.
You know, whenever we spoke last time.
Right.
And I told you that we would do our best to do that. When I got outside the meeting, Ron Culliford kind of told me, said, Dale, you may have misspoke, and I did. The issue is the width of the streets. They're wide streets. The setbacks from the curb to the unit itself is not minimal. It's 18 to 20 feet, but it doesn't really lend itself to have any area to put sidewalks. If you can't put a 4 or 5 foot sidewalk there, it's not practical. The second thing is it increases the impervious substantially as far as the drainage is concerned. And I guess besides the impervious, the landscaping, if you look at the units, particularly the ones that we've added the extra parking to, if you look at those homes and the lot sizes, there would be very little room for landscaping and trees in between the edge of the street and the driveways, and from one driveway to the next, there's very limited area. But I wish we could, and if we could, we would.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. And again, we do really appreciate what you did take from our comments last week and incorporate into your plan, so thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, while you're there, does anybody else have any questions for the developer? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
All right, you did a great job. Ron would be proud of you. All righty. Unless there's any further deliberations or questions, what is the?
I have one question. I just thought of a question for Michelle.
Okay.
For the entranceway to this development, I was driving down Live Oak the other day and was looking down an entrance, and it looks to be kind of a straight shot to this development. What's the speed limit going into that area and then in this development itself? Is it all 35 in this particular development and on that straight shot through? Are there any plans for any type of mitigation for speed at all, or no?
I don't know that it would be 35. Paul, do you know what the speed limit would be for our Live Oak connection right here, through here?
35 myself, I suppose.
Okay, so it would be 35. We do have infrastructure improvements in that area. It's not showing on the plans that we've got any, speed reduction. But I'm sure if that's an issue, then we could look into it at that point.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
Oh, question there. So Chief, the entire complex would be 35 miles an hour?
Unless otherwise posted, yes, sir.
I mean, that's, yes, it is. I mean, that's,
Well,
Chief,
Front Street 30.
are you recommending that, or you ask that for the remain that 35, even going straight in and in the complex itself?
I made no recommendation, no, sir.
Is it by the ordinance?
Excuse me. I will just say this for the community itself. I can't, obviously, the street coming in from Live Oak will be a city-maintained, city-owned street. The interior roads will be private roads, and we have no intention of 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. I'm going to say it's going to be more in the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit
Oh, okay,
range.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's more amenable there.
Yes, sir.
I hate to see 35 miles an hour in a complex that's going to be having
I don't know, how
children.
are you gonna do it?
Zoom. Thank you.
Should be surprised.
All righty. Any further questions for Michelle, the developer, or any other considerations from the board? All righty, so what is the pleasure?
I make a motion to approve, subject to the submissions that they offered on the June 13th memo, and including a 20-mile-an-hour interior private street speed limit.
Got a motion on the floor. Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All right, ayes have it, motion carries. Now we're gonna move on to number 2, that's sewer allocation request, the towns at Live Oak.
Mayor and Board, this was on our last agenda as well, but the board did not take action in consideration of the lack of action on the prior item that we just acted upon. But Sam Bell is here. Greg Michaud made the presentation, brief presentation last month, but Sam is here to answer any questions you might have and just generally go over the application for sewer allocation. So Sam, if you'll review that for us, please.
All right. Thank you, Todd. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Yes, the sewer allocation goes along with the previous development. Have 135 units split between 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom. If you go to their application, you'll be able to see how much they're asking for. Keep going down. It looks like a total of about 24,500 gallons per day. That would go into it would go into our system via a pump station that would then gravity to our lift station 13, and then to our wastewater treatment plant. The lift station 13 has plenty of available capacity. I think it's only operating at about 50 to 60% right now. The 25,000 GPD would represent maybe about 8% of its total capacity. So it'd be increasing from about 50 to 60 to, 55 to 68%. And then onto our wastewater treatment plant be adding about 1% to our wastewater treatment plant, bringing it up to about 80% of total capacity. Yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. Commissioner Spiegler?
No question. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Commissioner Oliver?
I have no questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Cooper?
The 80%, did that not bring us right at the state level?
The calculations are continually fluctuating. I'm working on an update to our allocation spreadsheet that takes into account last year's numbers. Moving forward, this USDA work could significantly reduce the amount of infiltration we're seeing from rainwater and things like that are sort of inflating our treatment numbers. So, but yeah, you're right. Right now, based on the numbers that we have, that would put us right about that 80% mark average. We've been seeing this year, it's been a really dry year. So our current numbers have been a lot less than 2021, 2022, which is the numbers that I have right now. But so as we update those, we could actually see that go down just based on the lesser level of rainfall that we've been seeing lately.
So what does that do us for another major development?
Another major development, it's like we said, we've got the capacity. But it's right on, the limit of having to do something about it, which we are working on, so.
Yeah, we had the capacity at Station 13, but then it's pumped out, then going to the main sewer line, which is at 80% now, which means if another large construction comes in, we could be teetering right on that, where the state would want to come in. This would take us from about 79 to 80 based on the numbers that we have. But there's a few in our spreadsheet that are still in there as allocation and haven't been taken out yet now that they're in service. So that could also kind of reduce the overall number, such as Pruitt Health and some of the other recent developments that had been allocated that are now built. And so as we continue to see that build out, and we'll actually see the allocation being reduced and get some better numbers. But I would say we're safely under the 80% what we've been seeing this year. So this, moving forward, it's just, I think having the better numbers will help. And, also this upcoming meeting tomorrow with the state environmental quality will kind of dictate how we can move forward with building more capacity as well. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Gillikin?
I don't have a comment, I don't have a question, but I do have a comment related to Commissioner Cooper's, and I think it's not related to this one because I think it's fine for us to approve this one, but I think the elephant in the room is, do we need to start talking about moratorium on issuing sewer allocations, and at least until the USD project is done and we know how much of the water is going to infiltration and otherwise. I think that would be the smart thing for us to consider. Again, a little bit off topic, but related.
Thank you. Commissioner Lopiccolo?
No comment, no questions.
Any further questions for Sam?
I will add that
Sir.
this is a priority one allocation request, meaning that it's already in town. So this allocation request would have priority over something, say, that was trying to get allocation out of town. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Could you explain that again, please?
Yes, our allocation policy lines out 4 different levels of allocation priority. Level 1 being the highest priority. Level one is locations that are already in town limits. And then priority 4 would be locations outside of town limits that haven't been annexed in.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Sam, I appreciate that.
Sure.
All righty. When it comes down to considering approval of the allocation of 24,300 gallons per day of sewer capacity at 1809 for the towns, what is the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion that we approve as requested the sewer allocation for the towns at Live Oak.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to the Capital Reserve Fund Amendment Number 19, 1809 Live Oak Street. Who do we have for that?
Mayor Board, I'll recognize Christy Wood, our finance director, and this is also associated with the project that we've discussed the last two agenda items.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. This budget amendment requests that you transfer money from the Capital Reserve Fund that's designated for utility projects to the capital project that's already set up for 1809 Live Oak Street for the water and sewer line extension, and the amount of that request is $400,000. The paving for that road is covered under a separate capital project that we already have set up, and funds have been allocated under the street project.
All right, let's see if anybody has any questions for you, Christy. Commissioner Spiegler?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Oliver?
Remind me, if you would, how much is set up for pavement?
How much is set up for pavement?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask Sam on that one. I don't remember specifically for that road. Sam, do you remember?
I think it's around 350,000 that's already in the streets project.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Separate project.
Thank you. Commissioner Cooper?
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Gilligan?
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Lopiccolo?
No questions.
All right, thank you. All right, considering there's no further questions for Christy, once going twice, going three times. All righty. So what is the pleasure of the board when it comes down to budget amendment number 19?
I move that we go ahead and approve the Capital Reserve Fund for amendment number 19.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Christy. Now we're going to move on to 233 Leonda Drive, the Certificate of Sufficiency.
Mayor, I'll recognize Elizabeth Lewis, our town clerk.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. At the June meeting, I was instructed to investigate the sufficiency of a petition for annexation submitted for 233 Leonda Drive. The complete application is attached for reference in your meeting packet, as well as a memo from the planning department regarding the property. It's important to note that the town's fire department, police department will not be impacted by this request as they currently serve this area. The lot is zoned R20. While the lot is currently vacant, the applicant has also submitted a wastewater allocation request for the town's public service department. This request represents a total of 180 gallons per day usage, which signifies the construction of a 3-bedroom residential home. The sewer allocation request can be approved at the staff level per Sam Bell, Assistant Town Manager, because it's so small, the amount's so small per day. Both the planning department and the engineering department are here if you have any specific questions related to those items. I was directed to also reach out to the 2 surrounding property owners. This is the middle lot, 2 property owners on the other side. I did try to call those property owners. I was unsuccessful with contacting them, but I did send a letter to both property owners notifying them of this annexation request, and if they had any questions about ever joining in city limits with the town, that I would be happy to facilitate that request. So I feel like that's sufficient, and I haven't heard anything back from that either. So the next step in this process would be for the board to schedule a public hearing. I would recommend the August 12th date. but I will read for the record, just a couple points from the certificate of sufficiency, which is displayed on the screen. 3 points of concern. The petition for voluntary annexation of 233 Leonda Drive, 0.341 acres contains an adequate boundary of requested area to be annexed via the survey map. The area described in the petition is contiguous to the town of Beaufort primary corporate limits as defined by General Statute 160A-31. The petition is signed by the owner of the reference parcel above and includes the addresses of all owners of real property lying in the area described therein. So at this point, I'm requesting the board set the public hearing for the August 12th date.
Alrighty. Let's see if they have any questions before we set that. Commissioner Spiegler?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Oliver?
The only quick question I have is, I think the allocation would be 60 gallons per day instead of 120 under current state allocation. So I think the total would be 180 gallons rather than 360 on the Stroud letter.
Yes, so the actual application that they submitted with the town is 180. I think they were estimating more than what it
Thank
really
you.
was.
Okay, I'm just looking at what's here. Stroud letter said 360.
Right, when they actually contacted Sam Bell and they went through the process, it was
That's the only question
dropped
I
down to
had.
180.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Cooper?
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Gilligan?
No questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Piccolo?
Yeah, my only concern is that the lot is an R20 lot, which allows for full coverage right now. You're allowed to pave that entire lot if you wanted to. So that could create problems with adjacent flooding and so forth for the neighbors. Will this lot stay as R20 when it's brought in, right? Is there any way we can encourage or try to make it so it's an R5 or some type of like, some other type of zoning so that we don't then look back and go, well, yeah, we brought in as R20, now we have all these issues with the adjacent flooding or water being, because we don't, we have no idea what this applicant will do with the property, but we do know what can be done to the property.
Right.
So,
I would defer that question to the planning department.
And I might add that this is just a certificate of sufficiency. It's just asking the clerk to investigate the petition.
okay,
This would come back at another meeting for those types of questions.
okay. Well, it'd be nice to convey that to the applicant,
Okay.
because
Good questions.
And Mayor, if I could jump in, I mean, the board can initiate a zoning amendment. It doesn't have to come from a property owner or a third party. So, at a future meeting, if the board wanted to put that on the agenda, it would need to be referred to the planning board for their consideration, and then you've got, notice, process, but the board can drive that train if the board would like.
We can do that tonight.
You could do it tonight. My thought would be to hear from your planning department first, and then, depending on what they say after they do their research, that might be a better time to move forward with it, but at the end of the day, it's the board's decision.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I mean, in the end, we are working on the UDO, and it pains me sometimes to bring in properties to our town before the UDO is completed, because these are the types of issues that will be addressed in the UDO. So, just wanted to put that out there as another option.
Any further questions or comments? Okay. So do you need this done by motion, or do we need to do this by?
A motion, please.
All right, so I need a motion to recommend a public hearing for this annexation for August the 12th.
I recommend we have a public hearing for that August the 12th meeting concerning this annexation.
Thank you so much. Got a motion on the floor. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to public comment. So who do we have signed up for public comment? Please know that your public comment is 3 minutes long. We need for you to state your name and your address when you come up to the podium.
Yes, ma'am. The first one is Kyle McLaughlin.
First time I've actually done this, so I'm not sure how this works.
Yes, sir.
Took a lot to actually bring me in. This is in response to the speed limit on Turner Street, 35, and I believe I reached out to everybody on the board already. just about how unsafe the situation is in our community. Everybody could see when we came in, we've got a 10-month-old that's just started walking, and the traffic comes around the corner on Turner Street so fast, there's no way anybody could stop from hitting a child in the road. I've walked through the community, I've got 40 signatures on a petition. Everyone around us feels like it is a dangerous situation, so I'd really like to see that brought up for a motion to vote to lower it. I'm not sure what the process would be, but certainly would like to see the speed limit lowered to 25 there, and it seems like everyone around me that lives there agrees. So should I walk up and give you the petition signatures or email those to you?
I know that we had talked about getting the petitions and bringing that with you during our last email conversation. You can also provide that to the clerk. You can email it to her.
Okay, whatever's better.
We have heard a little bit back from NCDOT.
Okay.
And we will plan on taking that up at our work session.
Okay.
So that's going to be July
It's July 22nd.
22nd.
I believe that's correct.
So come back to that work session. It will be on the agenda.
Okay, on the 22nd?
Yes.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Barney McLaughlin, 509 Turner.
If we can wait.
Same subject. I can't see any argument for not lowering it. I mean, I want to thank y'all for serving on the commission too as well, because I know the only reason you want to do it to try to make the town better. You know, I mean, what other reason is there? Because it's a big ask to get up and do what y'all do. I know I don't want to do it. I just complain when I don't see things going the way I want it to go. But what I wanted to read to you is where this was already voted on in 2018. And it was brought up by the mayor at the time, Newton. It was a review of the speed limits. Let's say, I'm just going to read through it real quick. He reported he'd like the board to consider supporting a reduction in the speed limits along some of the major thoroughfares in town. He recommended the speed limits on Turner Street, Cedar Street, Front Street be lowered to 25. Commissioners Hollenshed, Hagel, Harker, Carter were opposed to the speed limit reduction on Cedar. They were in favor of the reduction on the other two streets to 25. Commissioner McDonald was opposed to leaving the current speed limit 35 for Cedar Street. He was supportive of reducing it to 25. The Chief of Police, Paul Burdette, indicated discussion during a previous work session was for consistency of the speed limits in town. Commissioner Hagel made a motion to maintain Cedar Street at 35 and north of the Turner Street Bridge to remain 35 and to lower the speed limit on Front Street to 25. It was a vote of 4-1, and this could have been written a lot clearer, but I think it was pretty clear what the intent was, and that was to lower the speed limit on Turner coming into town. It's all residential through there, and people are coming off of the bypass where they're traveling 50 plus miles an hour. So, and then they're coming off of the bridge and they're coming downhill into town. And everybody we have talked to about it says, yes, we need to lower the speed limit. It's dangerous. Just this morning, a lady trying to cross the street, she stood there for 3 cars passing by and nobody would even stop at the crosswalk because they're going too fast when they come around the curve. So I understand it's going to be brought up at the work session, and so that's the next step. I don't understand the process. I thought it was done before, and then nothing ever happened about it. It's confusing on a citizen to because you ask how you're supposed to go about doing this, and it's kind of confusing, if you're not involved in this every day. Thank you for the time.
All right, thank you very much. And we'll get that taken care of on the July work session, and definitely come on back to that.
Right.
So the process back then, in 2018, I don't think it's the same environment it is today. But when the town said that they wanted to lower it, NCDOT had to agree to that too. So there's a lot of bureaucracy there. But I think when we had them investigated again, I sent you an email, I believe, saying that we were going to get them to investigate that area once again because it was going to look different than 2018, and they were able to do that. So we'll get back with you on July the 22nd at our work session.
That would be great. I understand I'm a little biased, but anybody else that's passing through town and all, they all agree too. This is crazy. You're this far away from traffic doing 35, 40 miles an hour. Doesn't feel safe.
And we received emails from some of your neighbors as well, so we hear you loud and clear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Martha McLaughlin? Thank you.
Ditto.
July 22nd. That's it, okay. Now we're gonna move on to new business. We're gonna talk about the FY 2025 budget amendment number 1.
Mayor and Board, this is in your agenda packet on page 76. And I'll ask Christy Wood to come forward to give any further explanation, but this amendment requests the appropriation of $188,300 of P-card reward dollars, which is a refund to the town, $65,000, excuse me, P-card reward dollars of $65,000 and general fund balance $123,300 for upfits to Town Hall, which was created through the vacancy of the National Park Service from the Visitor Center. It also, that's $125,000 of expense. Town manager search consultant of $25,000 and personnel salary adjustments of $38,300. And Christy can assist with any answers or any questions that you may have. But that is a breakdown of the $188,300 budget amendment, and that is budget amendment number 1.
Thank you. Commissioner Spiegler, do you have any questions?
Just curious, do you all have an approximate date of when you think the town hall will be retrofitted for your use, or do you not want to answer that?
Go ahead, Christy.
Well, I would just say I would defer to Mark Eakes in Public Works, but we don't have an estimation of time.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Oliver?
No questions?
Thank you. Commissioner Cooper?
None.
Thank you. Commissioner Gilligan?
Were quotes received from potential providers for the upfit, or are we doing most of it ourselves and we came up with the estimate, or?
So I'll start on that. We have contacted several contractors that we work with for the different trades, and then I believe we'll have some work done in-house with some of our employees as well. HVAC and that sort of thing, we're outsourced.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lopiccolo?
No questions.
Thank you. Alrighty. Unless there's further questions for Christy, can I get, what's the pleasure for the board to either approve the budget amendment number 1?
Make a motion that we go ahead and approve the FY 2025 budget amendment number 1.
Thank you. Got a motion on the floor. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to mayor and commissioner comments. We're going to start with Commissioner Spiegler.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who is participating in person today or online. This may be a record for the shortest meeting we've ever had in my tenure. So I don't have many more comments to make it longer. I will say Kyle has already left, but I very much appreciated him coming in, and I know when you have a baby, that is a big commitment to come to a public meeting. And I will say my baby turned a year and a half today, so very exciting. All right, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Oliver?
I wanted to pay special thanks to both police and fire for the help late at night on the 4th of July fireworks, which I watched from a very close but safe distance. Thank you, Chief Tony, especially for your guys for helping clean up afterwards at the airport. It was a general spirit of collaboration with the airport. They pitched in. Tony's crew all pitched in, and I want to thank you personally for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Cooper?
Yes, I just want to thank all of those town people and visitors, whoever, for the parade. Very enjoyable. It was a little hot, but very enjoyable. And I want to say thanks to Tony and his guys, the fire department, and the raising of the flag. Again, it was a very beautiful ceremony.
Thank you. Commissioner Gilligan?
Yeah, I'll just echo those sentiments. The flyover was really nice, so we had community members spend their personal money, and we had town staff and the Beaufort Business Association all working together to put on pretty seamlessly a great July 4th celebration with the parade and the fireworks. So it just really shows how special Beaufort is and how we can make a great 4th of July.
Thank you. Commissioner Lopiccolo.
I also want to reiterate that and thank the Beaufort Business Association for even selecting Saturday as the night for the fireworks. I think that was really well thought out, and thank you for putting that on. We appreciate all that you all do. I think it was a huge success. I think I even heard people clapping and applause after the fireworks, which says a lot. You guys did a great job for that. And thanks again to the fire department and police department for keeping our town safe during this whole holiday week. It seems like everything went off without a hitch, so I appreciate all you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for coming to the meeting. For those who are online as well and tuning in, we appreciate your attendance. Look forward to seeing more of you. I really would like to thank our staff for all that they do for our town. Everybody will always comment how well this town is run and how great it looks. And it's truly a great testament to the staff that we have. I want to thank you for that. And for those who came in on their day off to help with the parade, I want to thank you. It's always great seeing you there, but I know that's a sacrifice in your day to be here. But that just further tells us about your commitment to our town. We're going to miss Todd. I've got one more meeting with you. I'm going to cry then. But I'm going to hit him with the hammer first. But that's just, it's one of those ups and down type thing. But we will miss Todd. But the town, once again, will be taking this opportunity to begin to move forward. So thank you all once again. And can I get a motion to go into closed session pursuant to the North Carolina General Statute 143, 318.11A and 3, and the North Carolina General Statutes 143, 318.11A and 4.
Mayor Harker, do we need to do the manager report?
Oh, sorry. Because I really didn't want him to go. You want to do your manager's report? Do you think? I'm sorry.
No. I'm good with that.
Go ahead. It's the last manager.
All right, okay. Mayor and Board, you've got a copy of the report, and of course, Elizabeth's going to post this here in just a moment.
Thank you, sir.
Our high-rate infiltration basin project, which also incorporates a discussion with the expansion of the wastewater treatment facility, as Sam had mentioned earlier, he and Donovan Willis and I will be going to Wilmington tomorrow to meet with Department of Environmental Quality to talk about our high-rate infiltration basin project and to see if we're going to be able to move forward with that under terms and conditions that the state of North Carolina would impose upon the town. So we expect to get some good information back as a result of that meeting tomorrow. Just a note on our USDA funded projects, this is a multi-phase, multi-year project. The project involves several different processes, includes rehabilitation of the town's wastewater collection system, water distribution, and also stormwater system. The first portion of the project will include CCTV work, which is inspection of the lines, and we've done much of this work in the past. Greg Mishaw did a great job about 2 or 3 years ago, but they're going back and just checking some of the areas that had initially been inspected. That will start in the month of July, and then we'll progress towards actual construction in August. So please know that Rachel is going to be keeping our website updated at www.beaufortnc.org/projects to keep the public informed and engaged about when different street segments will be impacted by this project. Pardon me. We've talked about the 1809 Live Oak Street and sewer main extensions. We're planning extension of those utilities, and we are putting out bids for that. So the advertisement for bids is anticipated to be issued this month. Professional Park Drive area stormwater inventory and flood study, that is well underway. We expect to have a final report to the board October or November of this year. Of course, we have other street rehabilitation projects that are ongoing. We are in the process of repaving Pollock Street presently this week. Again, go to www.beaufortnc.org/projects, and you will see which streets are being paved and those that are planned. Quick note about a stormwater fee low-income exemption. That filing period is now open. Effective July 1, the stormwater rate will change from $4 per month per parcel to $5 per month for residential parcels and $10 per month for non-residential properties. The fee is billed to the property owner on their tax bill, and an application may be completed for a low-income exemption. The application must be completed and returned to Town Hall no later than 5 p.m. Friday, July 26, 2024. Reduction of the residential stormwater fee is available for primary residences of owners whose gross household income is at or below 150% of the current year federal poverty level as determined each year by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Owners who qualify will have their stormwater fee reduced by 50%. As an example, a homeowner responsible for an annual stormwater fee of $60, which is $5 per month, would instead pay $30 upon qualifying for the income-based reduction. Property owners that wish to apply for fee reduction must gather the required documentation and complete the application. Eligible property owners seeking a fee reduction must provide documentation of income from all household resources. And again, additional information can be found on our website, www.beaufortnc.org/news. On the right-hand side, Mayor, you see the various announcements of upcoming dates and events. On page 2, just a couple of quick notes here. Kyle and our planning department are working on our community rating system. They're in the process of submitting the annual report and anticipating retaining the Class 7 rating, enabling town residents to continue to receive up to a 15% discount on their flood insurance. So that's a really important project that Kyle and his staff are working on. Also, we'll be meeting with NCDOT and their consultant concerning the Live Oak and Highway 101 roundabout. That's going to be a meeting on July 16th with staff only. With public utilities and water sewer sections, water quality reports are now available and they're online for public inspection. We continue to have some issues at our wastewater treatment plant, and Donovan is working with Lord and Company on site, working with SCADA and PLC issues. They've made some progress, but there are still some communication issues with the influence station clarifiers in the belt press facility. So that is a continuing issue that they're trying to resolve. With Public Works, just a quick note, the new fencing has been installed at both the tennis and basketball courts. With the fire department, our new fire engine number 1 has been delivered. They are outfitting cabinets, hose, loose equipment placement, training, and acceptance certification is underway. So congratulations, Tony. I know you've looked for that for a year now. So big asset to the town to ensure that we can continue to provide services for our citizens. Finally, I'll mention the Town of Beaufort Hurricane Forum with the National Weather Center is tomorrow, July 9th, and that is going to be held here at the train depot from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. Mayor and Board, that concludes my review of the manager's report.
Any questions for Todd?
I do have one quick question, Todd. Thank you for that. For the stormwater fee applications, have we already advertised that, or how would people learn that they can apply for that, seeing that the deadline is coming up soon?
Is Rachel with us tonight? Rachel, you might be best
Yes,
suited
I
to
might put you
answer
on
that
the spot,
question.
Rachel.
Yeah, it's been advertised on our website and the newsletter for several weeks now.
Has it been on, I'm just thinking that this is a population that,
It also went out with Sunshine List and was shared on social media as well.
okay. Do we think that's good for getting the word out that this is due in, what, 2-3 weeks?
I think that's about as comprehensive as we can get, especially with Sunshine List going out to the newspapers and all the media resources and outlets that we have. I think that's probably the best we can do.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions for Todd?
I just have one small one. I don't know how in-depth the roundabout discussion is gonna be, but every time I drive by there, I think about the roundabout and what it's gonna look like, and I don't know if there's an opportunity to voice that. We could have some pervious surface, like vegetation in the middle while we're driving around. I'm not sure when and if our input can be accepted on that, but I think that would be something that's important to me.
Noted.
Thank you. Commissioner Cooper, did you have something to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Many of you who attended the parade, going back to the parade again, and those who are online, I'd just like to say that our mayor was truly decked out in her red, white, and blue on the parade day. You were looked fabulous, dear
Thank you
Mayor.
so much, I appreciate that.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Any further questions?
No comment,
All right.
thank you.
Yeah, I don't know how I got to be the grand marshal, but I want to thank the Business Association for blindly picking me, but it's truly an honor. Yeah, there we go. All righty, unless there's any further questions, now we can go into closed session. I just need a motion. Do I need to read that all over again, Aaron?
I think your clerk has it. The
Okay.
record is crystal clear,
Well,
Mayor.
it's still clear.
So moved.
Got a motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Aye.